Brothers and Booze again, and we are live. We're got a lot of different beers. I'm actually steering away from my normal stouts this week, so I'm a little excited about doing some other things.
What?
Yeah, I have zero stouts, zero.
So sorry we're a little late. We had a little technical difficulty with our guest.
Mhm.
Hopefully he's going to be able to still make it.
Yeah.
Jason Greene, the sexiest dad blogger alive or something like that. We'll get to that.
Sexiest man alive. Let's get that.
Okay. I'm sorry.
He was lobbying for that. So, yeah.
Okay. So can I start here quick and then we'll check?
You go, man. Go ahead, and then I'll jump afterwards.
I have a raspberry sour ale from Ben Paddle. Ben Paddle is a wonderful brewery out of Duluth, Minnesota, Canada. They do sours well, and they do your favorite, Doug. They do the old wonderful barrel aged and big old stouts. I mean, they're in Duluth. What do you think? I mean, come on now.
Look at that. You said it's a raspberry?
It's a raspberry. It's looking all. I don't know what it looks like here. It don't look like raspberry though.
No, I would expect a little more red.
Yeah, it's more of a. I don't know.
I don't know, man. How's it smell?
As I said, yesterday, Paige got me for purpley, or last week purpley.
That was
this
great.
Raspberry. Very, very raspberry. It's what you expect. It's a light one.
Mm-hmm.
Not too tart. Refreshing. Yeah, what you got?
All right, so like I said, I didn't bring any porters to this thing tonight, so I decided to change it up. I'm going to start with something really, really offbeat that I saw tonight, and I thought I have to grab that because I've never even heard of anything quite like that. So, Lake Placid, which is Lake Placid, New York. They make their Ubu Ale is probably their flagship. This is something called Salted Caramel Waffle Ale.
Okay.
So, I mean, how could I not pick that up? I mean, it's weird. So this one clocks in at 5.8% ABV. So it's not a high gravity thing. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's fairly low considering my normal drinking habits. So just smells pretty much like an ale, very little bit of the caramel on the nose right out of the bottle. Let's see how it goes when it pours. Pours really nice, though.
It does.
Like a regular ale, man. Kind of clear, too.
I want to see the waffles.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, Lauren. Play well here. That's nice.
Yes, first time.
Yeah,
first timer.
Yeah, so I'm not getting any waffle. The caramel's a little more prominent when you pour it, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I want waffles and syrup, man. Now you got me into that.
So, yeah, it's like tastes like if you had syrup on waffles, like if you combine that. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like, because it doesn't have the texture of waffle because it's freaking liquid. It's not supposed to have that texture. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's not like a dessert beer. It's not overly sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Only got the ale flavor in there, which is good. Combines really well.
It still tastes like a beer at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
So would you call this a breakfast beer?
Yeah, I would. Because it's got those notes. If you had a nice breakfast where you were having, if you had waffles with this, I'm telling you, it would play really well together because, like I said, it's caramel and like that maple syrup flavor. It's not maple syrup, but like that regular syrup, like Mrs. Butterworth's or something like that. Mm-hmm. In an ale. So, and it's has a very slight hint of hops with it, but not like, when you get some ales that are a little bit hoppy, that's good. So yeah, I think it's really good. It's just definitely unique.
That's interesting. So I think it's time. I think it's time for us to try our guests. We're a little late coming on there because the Jason Greene was having technical problems. So let's bring him on here and say hello to him. See if I can.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey!
I'm on my phone. I'm on my phone, so I don't get to see any messages or who's coming in and out. So
Yeah, that's all right, man. We're
Yeah,
glad
let
you're
me
here.
know.
Glad we can hear you finally.
I am too. This has been a crazy day, so I'm glad to be hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
Right. So crack. You got one to crack open. Let's see what you got. You got anything?
You know what I do? Since I've had such a crazy day, and I knew I was going to have a crazy day, and I'm staying in a hotel tonight, I just went to my liquor cabinet and I grabbed my old standby, some Woodford Reserve.
Baby.
All right,
so-
let's do this.
Bring it, man. It's been a week.
glug, 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 glug.
It's
That's
one
not
of
something I want
those.
to glug, but yeah.
Sure. For
right.
sure. So, what's up, Jason? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. I love you guys.
Yeah, we know you from Dad 2. Yeah, we know you from
Yeah.
Dad 2.0. I've been going for, it seems like forever. I met Doug there. I met you there. It's coming up at the end of the month, so looking forward to that. So, Jason, real quick, I just want to get into, so you're a dad blogger, of course, but you also jump into the booze here and there. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, so years ago, back in college, I was a bartender, and so I developed a taste for the booze, and I'm pretty picky in what I drink. If I go to a bar and they don't have what I want, I'll just drink water. I'd rather drink. So I'm very picky about what I drink, but I enjoy learning about spirits. Having different cocktails. I love when I go to a hotel or a bar, have like a local cocktail and also to talk to the bartender that way. And but yeah, I went on a bourbon trail for a week down in Kentucky. It was one of the most fun things that I've done. We hit up 19 distilleries.
Wow.
And, yeah.
How many days?
What's that?
How many days?
How many days? It was let's see, it was 5 days of touring. So,
When you guys did you do that with your? Who did you do that tour with?
That's my brother-in-law. He's a photographer, and he's also he's a bartender here in Manhattan. He was named Shape Magazine's sexiest bartender in New York City.
Oh,
yeah. So,
yeah.
His name's Joshua Brandenburg. He's a great guy. He's a great photographer, and but he went along with me, and we took turns driving to the distilleries, and if you're gonna do something like that, you gotta take someone along with you.
Absolutely, man. And I remember you guys did a live stream, and I actually jumped in on it and asked him what he would recommend to make a Martinez, if I recall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he probably had some advice for you.
Oh, he did, and I took his advice, and it was damn good. So you said you're drinking Woodford Reserve.
I am, yes.
So what about Woodford Reserve makes it more? You made it sound like a standby, so more daily. Like if you're I'm gonna have a glass of whiskey. This is your go-to. Yeah.
Well, it's my go-to that I always have in the house because it's a good bourbon and it's not as expensive as some of the others. So it's my go-to bourbon for to have. It's at a good price and it's good. I like it keeps the oaky taste and between it's a for the taste and the price it's always in my house. I don't normally order something like that, or if I'm at a bar, I'm probably not going to order the Woodford Reserve, but it's something that I've always got around to. If I have a friend over drinking bourbon, or if I just want to have something for myself to knock back.
So Jason, you were having problems with your computer. We keep everything open here. So you were having problems with your computer. You're on your phone now, and you can't see the comments that are coming through. But one comment that came through is from our friend Joe Grassick, and he said, "Little known fact: Jason and I were in a national commercial together."
This is true. It's a migraine commercial.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Okay.
I remember that.
We had our video taken by someone who worked with President Obama and shot President Obama for his national portraits, and so we got to sit and have our photos taken and some commercials ran for us. It's funny because every once in a while I would go to the doctor and I would see like my commercial running and people would look over it at me, or my face would be in a magazine, and I looking something up. Or if I go to WebMD, I would go to WebMD to look up, whatever, and there I am looking sad.
Well, were you maybe in like a People magazine, for a certain award that's given out yearly?
Yeah, I don't know. I try every year. I try to be the sexiest man alive, but I get denied every year. So I was hoping maybe the sexiest migraine survivor alive. I don't know.
Hey, that's a niche that could work.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Hey, Doug, read that comment on there.
Yeah, so Joel asks, have you had any Woodford Reserve Bourbon Distillery barrel-aged beers? I have not.
I have.
You have? What one? Do you remember what beer it was?
I don't remember what beer it was. I had it while I was there.
Oh.
We were doing some different tastings, and they had some beer that was aged in the barrel there. That's a lot of the distillers are doing that now because they throw the barrel is used one time and they throw it out, and so now they're reusing these barrels for beer or wine or something like for other things.
Yeah.
So I did have. I don't remember the name of the beer, but I tasted it while I was there.
No, this is not a Dew Claw shirt, Daniel. This is a dad bod shirt. Yeah, baby.
Nice. Oh, I just realized I'm wearing a Woodford Reserve T-shirt. I did not plan that.
One brand and everything. Look at that.
I did not plan that.
That's true advertising there.
I have so many T-shirts for my bourbon trip. I don't even, I just.
So did you get more T-shirts or more bourbon?
Oh, more bourbon.
Oh.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not cheaper there. Like they don't lower their prices at the distilleries because they don't want to put the stores out of business or compete with the stores, and so the liquor is not any cheaper. But I still felt compelled to buy it there.
Buying it from the source.
Doug, what do you got? What are you drinking? Okay,
so I don't know if you heard me, Jason, but the one I had before was actually a New York State beer.
Oh, yeah?
New York, so from Lake Placid. It was a salted caramel waffle ale.
Huh.
Pretty interesting. It sounded a little bit like beer. So yeah, I'm going to go next, but I'm jumping up significantly in ABV for this one. So just forewarning.
Are you hearing static, Doug?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that you, Mr. Jason Greene?
Is that me? I don't really see me.
I don't know. Let me do the mic on.
No, it's you, Mr. Jason Greene.
Oh, okay. All right. So, is there like a fan running in your room or something?
Oh, now it's better.
Yeah. All right. So, next one I'm also grabbing is also a New York State.
Oh, look at that.
So this one is from Warhorse.
This is my first time I spilled a beer on the show.
Oh, Greg.
Look at that. All in live TV. Anyway, go on, Doug. Wow.
So this one here is from Warhorse. This is from Geneva, New York. I'm going to cover for you while you're cleaning. Oh, good.
So that looks great. So do you enjoy the sweeter beers?
It's not generally the sweeter beers. It's just more like I generally gravitate toward the higher gravity stuff. And Warhorse makes some excellent beers. They make a Scotch ale that's probably my favorite Scotch ale, called Royal Kilt Inspector, which is really great. So this one's called Big Shot. It's a golden stout. So I was wrong, Greg. It's a golden stout. It's not like a regular stout. So golden stout with coffee, honey, and lactose. So this one's a pretty high gravity one. This
golden stout.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I always go for the stouts.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical. Oh, look at that. We got action.
That's great. I'm only seeing you guys through little bitty screens right now, so I'm usually watching you guys on the laptop.
Yeah. So this is not dark like a stout, though. Golden stout, maybe. Yeah, look at that. Never good when liquid puts out on a keyboard. It was not. So this smells really sweet, which is consistent with the idea that they mixed it with honey and coffee. Well, coffee, although aged in bourbon barrels for 10 months. I missed that part. The fine print is super tiny on that.
That's great.
So I didn't even realize that.
So
On
that
point.
is one of your beers.
It is, and I totally didn't even realize it. Damn it. I thought it was going off the reservation a bit. Oh. So what's funny is the honey is way more present than even the coffee, which usually you expect the coffee to be way up in your face.
Mm-hmm.
What ABV we got again?
11.5.
Our friend Daniel Fisher asked Jason Greene, were those authentic NYPD sirens?
You heard them, yes. They are authentic NYPD sirens in the background. If there's a knock on my door and you see me run, don't ask any questions.
What's up, Doug, with that? Doug, Joel says beautiful pour.
Well, thank you, Joel, who was luck of the draw there. So this is very, very, very sweet. I get very little coffee out of this at all. It's like almost like a very heavy golden ale with honey. They also had the lactose in here, but I don't. It's a little creamy, but not much. Really, the honey and the sweetness is what's really just kind of overtaken the whole thing for me. It's not bad. I'm not getting any of the coffee flavors that, and I like a good beer with coffee in it. So I was expecting a little more coffee out of it. But the bourbon barrel age, though, I think that's contributing to the sweetness. I think it's giving it that really sweet smell. So, yeah, I enjoy it. I just was expecting differently because of the things that they had noted were in it.
So what is that? It's called a golden stout again, or they called it a golden stout. How about that? So then, what? You probably don't know the answer, but how is a golden stout any different than a white stout?
Yeah, I'm going to look and see what it says.
And do you guys like white stouts?
I do.
I enjoy white stout.
But we're not going to.
Interesting is one thing Warhorse does is they do this thing called an album pairing, not like a food pairing.
Oh, cool.
So their album pairing was White Rabbit, the Winter of Mixed Drinks. I have heard of neither that album nor that band. So
no, our friend Afro Beatrick does. Remember, Afro Beatrick does beer and albums.
Yeah, and so that, like I said, that's really good. It's very. This is like a really shareable beer. Like it's something where, like, if you have some friends, you can be like, "Here, man, have some of this." It's because it's a 16-ounce bottle I got, so I'll finish it because I don't have anybody to share it with. Because my wife started drinking wine, and once she's on wine, that is it. There is no more deviation from that. So,
we don't mix over there.
Not with wine. When she's on wine, it's just wine. She's monogamous. But if it's anything, okay. Then she's polyamorous.
Okay. I was waiting for that one out. Right. I don't have it. Anyway, we have a peanut butter porter here, Doug, from Lutheran Brewing in Minneapolis, St. Paul, somewhere up there. It's Canada. If you go any further than me up there, it's
American Canada.
Yes, to all of our wonderful Canada friends up in Minneapolis, you know who you are. They're probably bumping on right now and seeing a big old nice 30 glass.
Very nice.
It was clean when I started this mess, I think. Peanut butter porter, big peanut butter on the nose. Lupulin. The peanut butter porters up in Minneapolis. I don't know if you guys know. Their Dangerous Man has that one that everybody talks about. And then I think what happens is, like, regionally, like, I think other brewers hear about it and then they make their own.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, peanut butter porters I don't see many of them.
Well, I see
more, but I still don't see many of them. What do you think?
I see a lot of them. Jason, do you see? I imagine you would see more there than we do here, but.
No, I haven't seen too many. If you go to a bar that that brews their own beer, some of those you'll find that every once in a while.
Yeah.
If like a peanut butter stout or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I see more peanut butter stouts than porters. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, let's see here.
Poor Joel. He said he's noticing a lack of bourbon in his house. So, Jason, you've been able to
come on over, Joel. We've got plenty.
So,
oh, it's a chocolate peanut butter porter. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. There's chocolate there. Normally when you mix chocolate and peanut butter, the first thing you think is Reese's, right?
Yeah.
Or peanut butter cup. I don't know. I'm not really getting the peanut butter cup taste out of this one. I'm getting the chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm getting the peanut butter. Dangerous Man, for the record, is a peanut butter porter. It's not chocolate peanut butter porter.
Are you getting the aftertaste on the way out? The peanut butter taste on the way out?
Peanut butter taste on the way in. Peanut butter taste more chocolate on the way out. Sweet on the lips.
It's so good when it hits your lips.
A little thin, I think. A little thin. But again, it's a porter, so I want it to be a little thin. I want it to be a little bit thinner than a stout, Mrs. Afro Beer Chick. So this isn't a brown water porter. This is a pretty good one. A little sweet though for my taste. Doug and I like the roasty porters, or at least I like the roasty porters more. I like the sweet ones. When it gets sweet, it kind of gets out of my thing.
Yeah.
Then you're getting into if there's a porter that there's always an exception to the rule. So if there's a porter I dislike much, is a fruity porter. Like fruit does not belong in my porter. Fruit can be in any other style. Keep it out of my porter. Thank you.
Agree.
So that's my service announcement, damn it. So.
I agree. Put fruit on a plate, but I don't want it in my drink.
Yeah.
right. And one of the worst porters ever, with all due respect to this brewery, is Great Lakes Alberta Porter. It's horrifyingly horrible, in my personal opinion. But there's other people. I say it in a group once, and people are like, "Oh my god, I love that!" It's a raspberry porter, and it's just not. No.
I am a fan of fruited porters. I'm just not.
No.
Stop.
That's my answer. Stop. Right. Let's stop right there. But I don't know. Plenty of people buy it, and it hits their seasonals every year. So good, man. Good. As long as you're making money on it, I'm cool. But it ain't my thing ever, and don't even try it. So this is like my limit, though, is the peanut butter chocolate thing. Because it's just getting to be more of, I'm just used to the big stouts being sweet and having all these wonderful flavors go through. I just like my porters plain and bland and, well, not watery, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. No, but it's the same thing with like brown ales. I have a very specific idea of I want it to taste like this. And now you can do certain things with them and you can do a little variant, but there's certain things like we've discussed before. Stouts and IPAs have a lot of ground where you can just go all over the place with them. Mm-hmm. But certain styles are just like, I want this and this is what I want out of it. And yeah.
So Jason, to answer Joel's question real quick, no, Joel, it doesn't look like, it's not saying anything on the website, and I don't see here any other credits for another brewery. I think this is their own.
Joel was asking if it was a collab, but it doesn't.
Yeah. So with that being said, I don't know if you can you see my can, Jason?
Barely. What does it say?
It says CB, chocolate porter,
okay.
I think, or something.
Yeah, I see it. Yes.
Is this one that you like, Doug?
I think it's nifty. It almost looks Mayan in a way.
The can looks great.
Yeah. So Jason, I don't know how much you've watched the show or heard about us, but one of our sticks, or one of the things we always talk about, is Doug's fascination for beer cans and art, and it leads him to buy different beers when he normally wouldn't buy them. So, how are you in that area? When you go to a beer store, does that affect your senses? Do you grab, or do you don't care? You're more of a style guy? Because, Doug's a style guy too, but, there's a nuance there.
Yeah, sure. Well, whenever I go to the store, I like stout. I drink stout. And so the problem is there's a lot of stores that don't carry stouts. So I'll go to the beer section and I'll look through there first. If there's no stout, then I'll look around and see what grabs my attention. What else is there? If it's an interesting beer that I haven't had before, then it's got a good art on it. I'll give it a shot. So I think if they put a lot of money into how they look, then they might have put a lot of money into the process.
A wise man once said that. A wise man once said that.
I've said that maybe once or twice.
Well, I agree. I agree.
You're gonna. I think it's. I think it's similar to if you look at if you have a bourbon or a whiskey that you like, and they make a really cool label or bottle, you go, oh well, they took some time to make that look good. Then it makes you think, all right, well, they're going to make sure that their product's good too.
Right. Or they could be saying, here's a great looking can because what's inside of it is crap. I don't know.
I've had a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
This is true.
So you had the Woodford Reserve. Do you have another one you got on hand, Jason?
This is the only one that I brought with me because I was sort of in a hurry when I ran out of the house early this afternoon. And so, I've been running around New York City, and so I've been carrying a bottle of bourbon with me everywhere I go.
That's not a bad thing.
No. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't bring a selection. There's a mini bar over here, but I'm gonna try and stay out of there.
I think that's fine to stay away from that. I mean, we had Liz on here. What was it, a week or two ago, Greg, and she was drinking seltzer because she was doing dry January. So, but she had a lot to talk about with her Bruseum stuff, which was really nifty. But you don't have to have a lot, man. You're here with us. This is great, and this is what we wanted.
This is great. Yeah. Usually I have a selection of bourbons and scotches that I'll put a flight out, but just one tonight.
Yeah. Hashtag brown bag it.
Yeah, that was Daniel Fisher said hashtag brown bag it.
Joel says it's classy, so it's
classy.
Well, you guys, speaking of, and it's funny because again, you said I bring the whole bottle with me. Do you guys ever? This is something we've never talked about. I don't think. Do you guys use flasks? Do you have any? And where's that all fit into here?
Well, I have a few flasks. I have one flask that I take that I don't care if it gets confiscated, and then I have another that is a nicer flask that I'll carry around to hanging out with friends or whatever, and we're going somewhere that we can drink out of. But if I go to, there's always that chance you're going to lose your flask when you go to a sports game. See if I go to the Mets. So I have a cheap flask that I don't mind.
What?
Losing.
You go to the movies? What?
No, the Mets games. I say movies. Yeah, I think Mets game, not movies. No movies. You can take a good flask into because they're not checking that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that I do that.
With you, I have one that's like this piece of shit that just like, all right, well, if somebody takes it, I don't care. But there's another one I have that's a little more fancy that if I'm going somewhere where I know some friends that are into scotch or bourbon and I have some, I'll be happy to share it with them. But yeah, I'm much the same on that.
Yeah, I mean, I usually when I go to Dad too, I've carried my nice flask in the past and shared whatever it was. But
reminds me, you're gonna be at Dad too, yes, Jason?
Yes, I will be.
All right, so I am gonna be bringing some things with me. I have a bourbon in mind to bring with me for you. So,
can't wait to taste it.
Oh, and I'll have my use of Spotted Cow.
Yeah,
I'll probably have a bottle. I was planning on bringing a bottle of scotch to share.
Yeah, I have a lot of scotch, so I don't need to bring any of that.
You can laugh at my Spotted Cow. I'm going to trade a whole bunch of shit.
Dude, you can. That's the thing. That is like currency in the beer world. It's like, I have Spotted Cow. I will give you all of my children.
Yeah, I have never had Spotted Cow before.
Oh, yes. Bam, this is going down.
Oh, then you're having some when we see you there, Jason.
I can't wait.
And maybe some Moon Man and some Two Women too. But well, Two Women's a beer. Sorry, Two Women is a New Glarus beer. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good one. I've had that one, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a lager. It is what it is. We didn't even prep Jason. Well, Jason, now it's time for our sponsor.
And you're on the spot.
And since
I'm on the spot.
We don't have a sponsor. You are our sponsor. So tell us about what you do. JasonGreene.com. How long has it been around? Tell us everything you want to tell us. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, so my blog's about 9 years old. I was an actor when I moved to New York City, but I was a dad. I had my son was born after a couple of years of auditioning around, so I had to my acting took a back seat to being a dad, and so I started this. Like I told everybody I had a website, and that's why it's called The Jason Greene, because there's already a Jason Greene out there. So it's The Jason Greene, and the plan was I was going to market myself as an actor and as a playwright, but I was only writing about what it was like dragging my son around New York City, and frustration that I was having. And out of the blue, like someone sent me an email, and like some dad was asking me questions, and he was having a difficult time, so I answered him. And so that sort of made me want to write more about parenthood, being a father. And then one day I went, the NYC Dads group had just started up, and I went to a meetup, and I met Matt Schneider from NYC Dads group there. Yeah. And he told me, he's the one that told me I was a dad blogger. Before that day, I told everybody that I had a website, and I had never read a blog before. Nope, I had never read someone's blog before. So he told me I was a blogger, and I had no idea what that was. And I had to go home and look up what blogging was. And I realized, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Mm-hmm. And he told me about Dad 2.0, and I went to Dad 2.0, and it changed my blog, changed everything. But yeah, so it's been going 9 years, and yeah, I'm at a point where I've been writing about fatherhood for so long. I'm not sure what else I have to say. My teenagers, I have 4 kids, 2 teenagers and 2 younger ones. The teenagers don't want me writing about them anymore, which is too bad because I have a lot to say about them. But I'm not allowed to write. Yeah, I'm not allowed to. They don't want me to write about them anymore unless I ask first. So I'm writing about other things. I write about traveling with my kids quite a bit. I've done a lot of traveling with my kids, and as a lot of other bloggers, I've dabbled into politics here and there as well.
A little bit.
Enough to get hate on a daily basis.
Yeah, on a daily basis, just dabble a little.
Yeah.
Well, very cool, Jason. Thanks for coming on again.
I love you guys. Love the show. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for doing what you do. For sure. So Lauren wants to know, as we get back to here, Lauren wants to know what's up with Spotted Cow.
Yeah, what's up with Spotted Cow?
Greg, not I, because you are a Wisconsinite.
Well, Lauren, the short of the story is, Lauren, I thought you were in Chicago. Was Lauren?
No, she's out in the West Coast, my friend.
Oh, okay. Because you're in Chicago, then she has no excuse for answering this question. Because people in Illinois come to Wisconsin, take 12 cases back of Spotted Cow because it's not sold anywhere. So Lauren, long story short about Spotted Cow, they call it a farmhouse ale. Basically, it's a really light, refreshing summer beer. It's an approachable beer. And in Wisconsin, it's the New Glarus is the brewery. And why people love it so much is because it's everywhere here, and it's also a great bridge between Bud Light, Coors Light, and craft beer. It's refreshing, it's light, it's fruity. It's a really, really good beer. And since it's only sold in Wisconsin, there's a scarcity around it, and people just love it. You literally can't get it in Minneapolis. So people come here, buy a whole bunch, and take it home. The thing that tells the most about it is that there's a store that's on the Illinois-Wisconsin border, and they sell the most Spotted Cow of any place in America because people are leaving Wisconsin and grabbing their Spotted Cow, going back to Chicago or Northern Illinois or wherever they're going. So Spotted Cow is like it has a, I don't know, cult following is not the word, but it has a mystique about it because it only gets so far. But if you lived here in Wisconsin, you'd probably say that it's one of the worst beers that New Glarus does. And I can confirm, in my opinion, that it's one of the worst beers that New Glarus does. New Glarus does amazing beers. They do sours. They do these one-offs that are awesome. Historical beers. They're just a fantastic brewery. But one of their best what pays the bills is Spotted Cow. So if you're going to that too, I'm bringing hopefully, I don't know, 2 cases or something.
Did you say it was fruity? You said you didn't like fruit.
No. I don't like fruity porters. First of all,
okay.
Porters, just porters. That's it. Everything. I love fruity beers. Doug can attest to that. But it's just a little bit of fruity though, Jason. It doesn't have. It's not like a fruit beer, but it's one of those light beers that has like a little fruit in it to be like, ooh, you know what I mean, like refreshing in the summer and all that. Yeah. So long story short, I want to sell one more Spider Cow anecdote. Was that I went to Philly last year on a beer trip, took a whole bunch out there. We get to this one brewery, and I told the guy that I had New Glarus, and he's like, "You have New Glarus?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go get you some." So I bought in a 6-pack of New Glarus Spotted Cow, and this guy proceeds to give me a case of beer, of his own beer. So it was really, really great. It was great because then I had 4 guys with me, and then we split them all up, and we all got to take home one beer out of the 6 that or the 4 6-packs that he gave us. But it was just great. That shows you, and that was in Pennsylvania, and that just shows you that everybody knows about it, and it's just really again, it has this, I don't want to say cult following, it has a scarcity to it that people just love it. So I'm gonna bring a whole bunch of that too. So yeah, that's it. Are we? You got another one, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
You have this one you were bragging to me about.
I'm going to bring one that is a style of beer that I freaking love, and it's just not easy to find. I don't find a lot of them here anyway. So what I'm bringing here is from Jack's Abbey. It's called Framing Hammer. It's their Baltic Porter. I love Baltic Porters. It's just they have such a good aroma. Like you get all the fucking toastiness and caramel and just, some of them have a little bit of licorice smell, which I'm not as big a fan of, but because it's such kind of it's not something that I get a lot of. I thought, and Jack's Abbey makes some really good beer, but I wanted to bring this up because I've had this before. I actually bought a 4-pack of this because I knew I'd like it. But so let's bring this in. This is definitely not going to be a brown water porter for sure. Look how it pours.
Yeah. Wow.
David Fisher says he just saw a s'mores variation of that beer, Daniel? The one that Doug just poured? A s'mores variation?
Now, they do have a Framing Hammer. Their Framing Hammer is a series where they take, they say it's a Baltic Porter for them, but they're regular straight porters. Mm-hmm. They do several variations, including a s'mores. They do a filet one. They do a graham cracker one. So they make some variations, but I don't know that they're Baltic porters. I think they're just straight porters that they make variations of.
Right.
I could be wrong. It could be a Baltic porter as well, but you can't see them making variations on Baltic porters.
A s'mores Baltic porter sounds horrible. Sorry.
Yeah. That's a little too sweet for me, it sounds like.
Did you just see how well this holds the head on it? Like, it's not like, how some of them usually dissipate really fast. This doesn't do that.
You said hold the head.
Mm-hmm. That's what she said. That's so good. And
it gets worse, Jason. It gets worse. Go on.
I've been around him. I know.
So, a little bit. So what's great about this is it's got the roastiness, but it has almost like a little plum flavor in it, which it's not forward. It's just like right in there. It just blends right in. This is the thing. This is like, it's almost like an aperitif, like just something you'd have like after dinner. I don't know. I've always dug Baltic porters. It's not something I drink a shit ton of, like, because even if I had a lot, because it's not that kind of beer. For me, it's something that you have, and like, I'll have a beer after dinner, and this is what I'm going to have.
Mm-hmm.
I will have these when you come here, Greg, Jason, Greg is coming to my house, and then we're tripping to Dad 2.0. So
that'll be a fun ride.
Yeah, it will.
Only one thing can stop it, and we're not even going to talk about it, so we'll be good. So we have WeldWorks.
Oh, yeah.
My final beer is WeldWorks. Kid in a candy store, y'all. Candy milk stout. This has, say it, Doug, or I don't know if you know what I'm saying, diabetes stout. All over it. because we're familiar with the diabetes stouts, Jason. We
Yeah,
one of
it's got the
Doug's
sugar.
I don't want to say one of Doug's favorite breweries. He can
No, it is. I know what you're going to say, and yes,
Southern Tier is one of Doug's favorite breweries. Is that true?
that is 100% true.
So one of Doug's favorite breweries, like their thing is the diabetes stout. Like everybody knows it, everybody talks about it. They're just fantastic. What is it? The milkshake stout and
this year they made a lot of the creme brulee stout's kind of their flagship.
Oh my goodness.
So they have like I sent Greg, I actually sent him through mail for the chocolate milkshake stout.
Ooh.
And Fairy sent me.
That was just awesome. And then there was a hot cocoa one they made.
That would be good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Jason, you never heard of Southern Tier?
I've heard of Southern Tier, yes.
Yeah. It's. Oh, I'm sorry. You go, Doug.
I was going to say it's probably more like Pumpkin, which is kind of their, as unfortunate it is that's probably one of their more famous beers because it's probably one of the best pumpkin beers you can have.
Pumpkin. You didn't enjoy the cinnamon bun one, right?
Not particularly. So,
but there's cinnamon bun. I mean, and they're just really sweet, Jason. They're beers that are shareable beers. I don't know if Doug said that. Like you should share them, or sometimes on the show, Doug ends up sharing them with his wife at the end because some of them are just so rich.
Yeah, drink it.
So sweet of you.
Heavy.
No, it's not sweet. She grabs it. But no, so this is let's get to this one real quick. This is
so Daniel Fisher posted the S'mores barrel aged framing hammer.
S'mores barrel aged framing hammer. Oh,
can you bring that link up, Greg?
Let's see here. How do we work this damn thing here? Let's see. This thing.
So I would say the graham cracker one they had. I had that. That was fucking outstanding. That was great. I had not had the s'mores one. I'm very picky about the s'mores ones because s'mores beers they're difficult. You either nail it or it tastes like you put 1,000 burnt marshmallows in it. So it's one.
Yeah, I've had a few s'mores beers. I haven't liked any of them. I don't care for too sweet of beers. I don't really. I enjoy a good stout, but not all the flavors added to it.
Be more.
Give me a good oatmeal stout. I think a good oatmeal stout or a good chocolate stout, but nothing too fancy in my stouts.
This Doug?
Sorry, my old man eyes had to put glasses on. That's Jack's Abbey. They're out of New York State as well, and they make a bunch of framing hammers. I don't know does that say anything about it being like a Baltic porter because
right here. Bourbon barrel aged Baltic porter with lactose, vanilla, and cocoa beans.
Wow. I was not expecting that because when I had the framing hammer graham cracker one, that didn't have the Baltic porter thing. It just tastes like a porter with graham cracker. And it was delicious. It was just Baltic porter it's very kind of niche taste, and it didn't have that for me. And like I said, that's not saying it wasn't delicious. It just was not to me like here's a Baltic porter with this in it. It didn't feel like that to me, but that's me.
So this, I don't know. I thought this was going to be like a diabetes stout. This is a Kids in the Candy Store milk stout. Let's see. I can't. Man, it's dark here. Okay, so brewed with peanuts, caramel, milk chocolate, nougat, and milk sugar. Okay. So this is kind of like a Milky Way. No. Is that Milky Way that has nougat?
Yeah.
And Three Musketeers?
Three Musketeers does too, which is one of the best candies that I could get at Halloween ever. So,
Three Musketeers? Come on, Doug.
Yeah, man. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I love those. Those and Reese's peanut butter cups and weirdly peppermint patties because I'm a weird.
Okay, so I'm not sure what to think of this one. I don't see pink. I don't get pink. Caramel. Yeah, milk, just chocolate. Um, tastes like candy. Not necessarily candy bar. It's really sweet. Um, on that level of too sweet and not. There's a fine line, and I'm with you, Jason. I think everybody's line is different as far as the sweetness goes. Some people love it. Some people even get a little taste of it. It's just too much. This is, I don't know. It's a stout. I don't taste any stoutness in it. I just taste like, I don't know, chocolate and all. I mean, it's good, but it's kind of all over the place. Does that make sense? That makes sense.
Make sense. It makes sense to me.
It's not to the level of like Hot Mess, like Lizard of Cause, or like there's some other ones. You almost came close to say that cinnamon bun was a hot mess. I thought. I don't think we had it on the show though. We didn't have it on the show, did we, Doug?
No.
Right, but I think on the side you were talking about it, and I don't know if you said hot mess, but it was
the sweetest beer I've ever had.
But of course, the hot mess is it's a relative term, and it's just my opinion on it. Some people will have this and think it's fantastic. Not that it's not fantastic, it's just meh. How about that? I'm going back to this peanut butter porter.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going. And then I finished. It's sour.
Yeah.
I'm not. Once you get off of sours, you can't. It's hard to go back. And Jason, so where are you at with sours? Are you a sour person? If you do you like them puckery, tartary? Where are you at?
I'm not a sour person.
Oh
no, I don't drink sours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The only time I drink them is if they're tart. I don't like them when they're sour. There's a big difference. And if I have it, I have one. I don't have any more than one.
Yeah.
Or
yeah. Give me a pour like that because I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want a goblet of that shit. Don't give me that stuff. So yeah.
So one thing I got to get my butt on, and it's going to happen soon, is our New York City trip. Jason,
come on down.
New York City. And I'll be there at least for 2 days. I haven't even done the agenda yet. Our friend Daniel Fisher he's done a lot of work for us, and I need to jump in and look at that.
Like an Excel spreadsheet and all that shit.
Yeah, he's up on the shit. So I got to look at that, and we're coming to New York. So I'm gonna invite you, and I'll make sure you know. Something.
Meet me at the Flatiron Bar.
Oh. Okay.
They brew their own beer. They have a bunch of beers on tap. So anything you could possibly want, they have it on tap, and they brew it right there.
And I actually think my wife is going to join me for that trip too.
Yes, and that starts. I'm working on. We got to do one nail in the coffin for the Fresh Fest. We got to get our Airbnb for Fresh Fest. After that, I'm jumping in on New York. So we got to get a lot of that done before I get to that too. So anywho, but I just want to let Jason know we are in Brooklyn too. I can't wait to go to Brooklyn Brewery and 6 Point, and I can't wait, man. New York
6 Points.
Last year we did Philly, and Philly I was like, no, we need to go to New York next. This needs to be. I don't know. I haven't been to New York forever, so it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
Can't wait to see you.
Yeah. So then we'll have to do Binghamton next.
Binghamton and what? There are 4 breweries.
There's, I think, 4. Yes.
See,
there's some good beer in your
It's great.
Going.
No, I did. You said you're like we got. I want you to be here by noon on this day so we can go. So I started looking and I'm like, oh, look at this. There's 4 there. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I didn't say you had to be here by noon. I was just hoping you'd be here in the afternoon sometime so that we could go and just take in all 4 of the breweries and be cool for the next day of our trip.
Right. No worries. I just put noon in my head. How about that?
That worked.
But yeah. Joe met the small ones in Brooklyn. I'm with you, Joe. I'm with you. I still got to hit the big ones. I mean, there's There's no skipping Brooklyn for me. That's a Garrett Oliver thing. I have to do it. So there's just none, not happening. But no, there's a lot of small ones. I hear you can just jump around, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. I'm very looking forward to it.
Me too.
So, Jason, speak to a little bit about again, I know you're. I love saying this, and I've already hit you with this, Jason, on the side personally, but I know you have 4,000 kids. So then, we've already talked about this.
That I know of. No.
Whoa.
No, but like, and I say
4,000. No,
News on Jason Greene.
I say that about Doug too. I'm like, Doug and Joe's got 4,000 kids. Like, anyone more than my 3 is 4,000. So it goes from 3 to 4,000. That's how I look at it. No, but you're a family guy, got kids. How often do you get out to the bars? Is there breweries that you like? You just mentioned a brewery before. So go into, where do you hang out in New York when you can get to hang out with, being a family man?
Yeah, so I live in Queens, and in Astoria is known. Anytime you visit New York and you're looking for restaurants, someone's going to bring up Astoria. So Astoria's got great restaurants and, of course, in bars and most of them. So if I'm just going to have a quick, a beer somewhere, meet with a friend close by, there's local restaurants and bars near me. But if I ever have someone that's visiting New York City, I always tell them to meet me at the Flatiron Bar. It's a big bar, long bar, and they brew their own beers, and it's all on tap. So that's where I say that's where I always tell someone, meet me at the Flatiron. And it's a good central location. But yeah, I don't usually get out. I don't go out that much. Yeah, so
we're drinking at home, so you see how much we get.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't get out, but every once in a while I'll get out. Oftentimes because of a dad blogging friend in town, or of a NYC dads group meetup at a bar somewhere, and I'll leave for a little bit.
Yeah, Doug and I, the story goes, this part of the reason why this show started was because I'm attempting to become a beer expert, and I don't drink enough beer. And literally, that's why I called Doug, and I was like, I need a way, and it really comes down to just being a dad generally, because you just get caught up in your dad business, and man, it's 10 o'clock. How can I drink? Just say before you know it, it's 10 o'clock, and then that limits how much you can drink or how many beers you have, and so it's like a cycle. And like every day goes by, and I still don't have beer, and I'm looking in my fridge. I'm like, I need to drink this beer. And then, I don't know, I get caught up with some of my kids. 7 hours later, it's 9 o'clock. I don't feel like a beer. Next day starts. It's just like, it's a, what I mean? So that's like, I can so relate as a father. Just fitting in your time, like time for you. And so, yeah, it's interesting. Doug, anything on that?
Yeah, I think that the thing is, once you get to a point where like Jason, you have younger kids, you have older ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
I am all in teen realm. I have one kid who is not a teen, who will be a teen in May. So like all my kids are in teen realm. I don't have any little kids. So like for me, when I have time to like, I can go out and I can explore a little more. But when my kids were younger, like my time was at a premium. So it was like, if I'm going to drink beer after they go to bed, I'm going to pick some good stuff or some weird stuff or just something unique. I don't want to just drink Bud Light or what, for whoever's doing that, all on you. Great. Enjoy that. But for me, I wanted to try a bunch of different stuff. So I had to be very selective. Was that something for you? Like, it's like, did you go, hey, if my kids are in bed, but it's like 9:30 and I don't have a whole lot of time, I'm going to have a glass of bourbon or I'm going to have this beer. Do you do that distinction, or is it more just like, here's what's available?
Yeah, no, if I'm gonna drink, at home especially, that I'm gonna drink good stuff. I'm like you, like, yeah, sure. If those Bud Light, Coors Light, whatever it is, that's what you like, that's fine. But if I'm gonna have this is my, my chance to drink for the week, I'm gonna go with the good stuff. But yeah. So usually the kids are on bed, and once in a while I have a drink right before. I fall asleep, I go to bed, and just relaxing. 4 kids, it can be pretty crazy. So once the house is quiet, I enjoy a good Oban Scotch for a nightcap.
Yeah, for the record, 4 over 3 is not 4,000. Just for the math part of the equation. So
Yeah, it is.
3 to 4 is pretty easy. Going 3 to 4 is easy.
Really?
Yeah, going 1 to 2 is the biggest step. 3 to 4 was nothing.
And that is exactly true. Once you get past 2, it's
all. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many you got after 2. It's.
I don't know. I had 3, and I was just like, I could not imagine. I always tell him, man, the third one, the last one. I always tell him he was one to end with. How about that?
It seems like so. My youngest, who's just a great kid, he really is. But like, he was such a challenging toddler that I was like, if I'd have had him first, I wouldn't have had any more.
Right.
And it wasn't that he was just a bad kid. He didn't sleep.
Right.
And like the body training was like just the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I was like, first, I'm not sure what I had anymore. So
my youngest, man, those shits and farts were. I'm serious. I'm not joking. It was bad. And it's funny too because he's 14 and he just sits there. I say this and he just laughs. Like he just has a sinister look in his face. I'm like, oh, that's really funny. Especially when you used to throw your Milky bottle at me. Milky! Like, but as I get to teenage years, I do look at those years back as more fondly than anything. But back at that time, I wanted to pull my hairs out.
Yeah, it's funny. Like every once in a while, I'll see a baby. I'm like, oh, those days. I miss those days. But like,
I don't.
Yeah, about a week ago, I had all 4 of my kids at the doctor's office for they're all sick, and someone came in with a baby. And I was like, I'm so glad I'm not there.
And Joel says his mother-in-law says the same thing that you guys say, and she had 6 kids.
Jesus.
No.
Yeah, see, if I was younger, if I had kids younger, like, yeah, I don't think that would have been no problem having 6 kids. But like, I had my 4th when I was 41. That's enough.
Good on you. My wife and I were dating when I was 40, and she was like, we should have a kid. And I looked at her and I went, no, we really shouldn't, because 60 when we pick our kids up from high school. So no, thank you. So yeah, I envy you, and I do not all at the same time. Makes sense.
It's nice to have an age gap because the oldest one can babysit the youngest ones. That I can have.
When I go to like a grocery store or something, and I see somebody struggling with like a little kid, I'm like, that's really cute. I'm really glad I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah. It's kind of fun though when you see like a parent struggling with a kid now, like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. Good for you.
True.
I'm not helping you out a bit.
Yeah. Go over here to the beer section. Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh man, Jason, man, it has been just really awesome to have you on, and I can't wait to see you in a few weeks in DC. This is going to be this good. I'm really looking forward to seeing you there, man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys too. Yeah, I think you guys are 2 of my favorite guys in the world, so I'm looking forward to hanging out.
Yeah. And we need to do some bourbon or something down there, right? At least get a shot going on.
Well, be that. Yeah, hey, so we have the bottle share thing down there. We should have some bourbon scotch share as well.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
At the same time?
Fucking yeah. Why not?
Okay, as long as it's in a hotel and I can stumble.
Yeah.
It's at the hotel.
Anywhere, I assure you that. So,
see, now this is where I don't, unless I'm in a safe place, I do not tread with alcohol and beer. I just
see. I can mix everything. That so.
Dad too is more than one day, so
that is true.
This is true. And one of the best things about that too, if you've never been there, is they're phenomenal, amazing cocktail hour. What is it on Friday night or something like that? Whatever.
And Saturday
night.
It's the first night. It is just, it's just always top notch, and they always have, again, craft beer or a good spirit that you can drink. So it's always a good time. It's always fun, right? So Jason, we'll see you in a couple weeks. We're going to let you go here real quick so we can wrap up our wonderful
Thanks
live
for having me.
madness show here.
Been great
Don't go anywhere because we have an after show that goes on forever. But Jason, we'll see you soon. Hopefully we can get you back here maybe in the fall and get your laptop going. And
Yeah.
yeah. Nice to see you, buddy.
You know
I
what?
see you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.
So, Doug, what's going on with
Just add it, by the way, Joel saying just add another plate or two to the table was like a classic comment.
just that right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't work quite that simply, but awesome.
Right. Like
That's 5 plates. Oh, that's great.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Like I said, man, it's funny because I say this to a lot of people, and then sometimes they take offense to it, and until I explain myself, like, damn, you got 6,000 kids. Like, oh, my friend has 4,000 kids over there, and they're like, what? I only have 4, and I'm like, well, to me, I'm sorry, who has 3, 4,000 it's just out there. Like that's how I feel. I'm like, it's like, whoa.
Well, again, so Jill and I were. This is our second marriage. So she had 2 with her first husband, and I had 2 with my first wife.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're a Brady bunch. So it's
like the Ziegler bunch.
So it's like, we had 3 boys and 1 girl, and it's super. We didn't have to like just fucking bang our heads against the wall together on it. So
sure,
it's worked out really well. So
sure, the Ziegler bunch, we got it.
Mm-hmm. The Ziegler gaggle. We always called them the gaggle for some
reason. Oh, the
gaggle.
I like it. So, what were your favorite ones, and where are you at with your beers tonight?
Okay, so man, I'm struggling to figure out which one was. So I'm going to do these 2 as 2A and 2B.
Okay.
So this was okay, and this was good. I just was expecting more coffee.
That the first one was that breakfast
waffle, salted caramel waffle. Actually, you know what? This was probably my least favorite. Again, not bad, not great, just kind of meh. Interesting, and like I said, if you ever a chance to try their Ubu Ale is really good. We'll get some of this. But, so this was I didn't even realize this was a barrel aged golden stout. I just saw it. I thought it was a golden ale. Mm-hmm. This was very heavy on the honey, almost no coffee to be spoken of. 11.5, so you had a lot of ABV. So if you wanted to have a high gravity one, great. The Baltic Porter, the Framing Hammer Baltic Porter was a winner for me just because I freaking love Baltic Porters. You don't get a whole lot of them.
Yeah. Go on. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question.
Just hit all the notes. It's like, you want a Baltic Porter? Here's all the notes of it. Hit all of them and hit them right.
Real quick, though. Sometimes Baltic Porters can steer into the licorice. Do you like when they even do that?
No, I do not. I'm not a licorice fan at all.
Okay.
So this did not at all. This is why I was like, oh, this is good. And I'm really happy that I got this because it doesn't go into the licorice realm at all.
But they also have dark fruits. And you mentioned
plum.
Yes. You mentioned plum. And that's another characteristic is they could be a little bit sweet. And then in my opinion, the sweetness can come off as fruitiness, even though I don't think it's trying to be fruity.
Yeah, this was not fruity. This was a little bit sweet, but just the tiniest bit. It was that plum flavor like that I like. That's kind of this got a deep texture to it that blends right into the porter really well. Again, it's not overdone, but it's really good.
So I'm going to run through my.
How about you?
Easy. I didn't enjoy this that much.
Well,
I don't know. It was all right. I just think they were trying to do too much with it, if that's possible. It's decent. I wouldn't say not get it. I wouldn't be surprised if everybody who else got it thought it was fantastic. It just wasn't my thing. So I wouldn't even remotely call it a bad beer. I would just say more. It's just not my thing. I just feel it's doing too much. My second one was, well, just by default, the raspberry sour ale. Pretty good. Raspberry American sour ale. Bent Paddle. Fantastic brewery in Duluth. If you're ever around here and you see it, just grab Gun Paddle. Just do it. Doesn't matter the style, just do it. And last but certainly not least, Lupulin, chocolate porter, chocolate peanut butter porter. I don't have to say anything else. I'm Daddy Porter, so it's chocolate peanut butter porter. It wins. Cheers. We will see you guys next week on
Valentine's Day.
We're going to be full of love and hearts and
Palentine's Day.
We'll explain that next week. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
And